Crazy communist New York City Mayor Mamdani may have finally gone too far, and especially before September 11th. You might not think that he could possibly go any worse than some of these very awful communist ideas, but folks, get ready because we've got video showing something that frankly could be unforgivable, and it may be the signal that it's time for Hollywood, movie stars, celebrities, artists, and everybody else to get out of the Big Apple. Hello friends, welcome back yet again to the Pro Channel, where we keep you ahead of the culture curve. Covering entertainment is what we do, but sometimes we have to swerve into the lane of politics and modern events to explain what the heck is going on. And that's what we'll do today. It's disturbing, it's awful, it's despicable, it's disastrous. Mayor Zohran Mamdani partaking in a service that is, frankly, disturbing. Get ready, we've got the video. Click the like button. And here we go. Well, Mayor Mamdani of New York City, the second largest media place in the US of A, you know he's cray-cray and you know he's gone too far, but folks, he went way farther in ways that may be unforgivable. We'll tell you about it. We've got Tegan Goddard's Political Wire here reporting out of, I believe, the Wall Street Journal, maybe the great lady. Mamdani is shunning New York business leaders. That's right, the folks out there, the media moguls, the tech entrepreneurs, the tech bros, all those who thought the movie stars that they would get access to Mr. Commie himself. Turns out that's not working the way they thought. New York City's business elites are long accustomed to direct access to City Hall, where even Democratic mayors felt the need to court the city's wealthiest and most influential corporate leaders. The Wall Street Journal reports that access is getting shredded by Mayor Zohran Mamdani. The mayor this week fired dozens of corporate leaders from the advisory, that's advisory board, of a multi-million-dollar philanthropic fund called the Mayor's Fund to Advance New York City. The shakeup marked the latest effort by Mamdani, an avowed democratic socialist, communist, to put distance between himself and the city's traditional power brokers, who are just realizing, oh no, this guy really is a commie. How bad is it? Well, take a look at this. From Pix, New York's very own, Mayor Zohran Mamdani sends cease and desist letters to Target and Amazon. Now, wonder why there's no Walmart? Well, because New York City won't let Walmart in. Mayor Zohran Mamdani has sent cease and desist letters to 40 major retailers, including Le Target and Amazon, over the sale of prohibited motorized scooters and e-bikes. It is the responsibility of retailers to only sell the vehicles permissible under New York law in our city, Mamdani said. New Yorkers trust that the product they are purchasing is legal in the city that they call home. What's this all about? Well, folks, you can't sell an e-bike, little electric motor, if it goes over 20 miles an hour. And the speed limit for these things is 15 miles an hour. And so that means that everywhere else in the country, you can enjoy an e-bike, yada, yada, yada. But this guy, the level of micromanaging that is happening, and the level of cutting out all the leaders who thought, well, we're going to get this guy in there and he'll do just like what we want. No, he's actually a commie, but he's worse. This is the part, folks, where maybe things start falling apart, especially ahead of 9/11. Dr. Malouf has this one, and I'm going to show you something you need to see so that you know that there are no shenanigans on our side. It says, terrifying. Zohran Mamdani, who again, remember, folks, it was the Mark Gruffalo the Ruffalos that came in. It was the Jane Fondas who said, you got to get this guy into New York City. He's got to be the mayor of the second largest media market in the country. Zohran Mamdani attended Friday prayers in a mosque, where the imam literally called for the deletion of non-Muslims. I'm going to play this, folks, and I'm going to show you something that you need to see. In order for you to know this is not a fake out, just trust me on this. There's a guy here with a white headdress, and he's wearing like a navy-colored outfit. And there's another fellow with a brown-colored shirt, and he also has a white head attire, okay? So pay attention. They're going to be in the video the entire time. Just in case you think there's some sort of fake out or time lapse or whatever, that's not the case. Here we go. I'll play the whole thing. 3, 2, 1.
You know, last Ramadan, I was with many of you.
I should say this is New York City Mayor Communist Mamdani here at the podium.
Is he putting an accent on?
At the
Probably.
procession on the martyrdom anniversary of Imam Ali, alayhi salam. It is a privilege to be here with you once again. I stand before you as the first Muslim mayor in our city's history, and this year as the first Jummah that I have attended in that new position. And to do so together, it is a reminder that in this month of Ramadan, as we find moments of reflection, of recommitment, moments of community, that we always do so together. And it is together that I am thankful to be here today, and I'm thankful to have the opportunity to lead our city. Assalamu alaikum.
You work not just for Muslims, you work for all of humanity and all of the residents of New York City. So we thank you very much for this, and we pray daily for your success in this journey, inshallah. Thank you.
وأسأل الله أن يصلي على محمد وآل محمد وأن يجعلني من
Now, let me just pause it here, because you see that Mamdani is no longer in the picture. And you could say, well, Pro, he's not there. This is not the same time. This is not. Remember, navy, brown, same white, same locations, same chairs. This is the same service. Mamdani may not be in the frame now. We don't know for sure. We can't tell, if he's there or not. But it's the same service. Continuing on. Watch what the translation says.
المنتظرين لك والتابعين والناصرين لك على أعدائك والمستشهدين بين يديك في جملة أوليائك والفرج فيه للمؤمنين على يديك وقتل الكافرين بسيف.
Now, for those of you who are just listening, the last words to this chant and the deletion, I'm going to use that word instead of Kill, and the deletion of the infidels by your sword.
And the religion of peace strikes again.
Lou, I go to you first. This is the second biggest media market in the country. It's second biggest in terms of making the media that we want to export all over the world. Mayor Mamdani has clearly gone full communist, but this ahead of 9/11 needs to get a lot of attention, and people need to know what's happening here.
Yeah, they're bad people. That's all. They're just bad people. It is not a religion of peace. It is a religion of conquest and of political overcoming of anybody that disagrees with them. You reap what you sow, guys. You reap what you sow.
Derek, there are going to be those who say, well, there are certain sects and there are different beliefs and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm going to leave that to the side for a minute. Just leave that to the side for a minute. What this is that we're watching the video, because what is an infidel? Let's say non-Muslim. So for Mayor Mamdani to be at a service where there's a chant that calls for the deletion of non-Muslims is totally reprehensible, unacceptable, and it goes beyond any kind of normal scandal for politicians. This guy is sending New York City to hell.
Oh yeah, no question at all about it. Again, you get what you vote for. If you wanted I would say a non-religious, candidate, you would have voted for that, but he never presented himself as such. And who knows if he was in that, meeting somewhere, in the back, blending in with the crowd. We have no idea where Mamdani is at this point. He could have been anywhere. He was there at the beginning, and now who knows where he's at. So,
Yeah.
Again, this is the thing I don't like about politicians. Oftentimes when they're on television, they'll just say what they need to say. They'll do what they need to do to get elected, to get the votes. And then afterwards, you see the real them. And, a lot of people were upset with him, after the list of all of the,
doxing the celebrities, the movie stars, all the folks who thought that he was on their side. Yeah.
They all thought so. And now, they're starting to see the real him. And a lot of people, I think it was Scott Galloway, he had his, oh no, is this what I'm supporting? And it's
Right.
like, yes. Okay. Everybody likes to, hear the words of the communist until the communist starts becoming the communist right before your very eyes. And now all of a sudden, oh, I don't think I like all of this, communism that I'm getting. And, he's right there at this meeting. So, I mean, what can you say about it? This is what New York voted for. This is what you get. So, maybe in the future they'll vote differently, but this is what they chose. And, this is what this guy supports clearly.
The thing I think I said about it was, knock, knock, who's there? The consequences of your own actions is who?
Well, the other thing is that these words about killing pardon me, eliminating, erasing, whatever is proper, your enemies. It's not unique to this service. It's a basic tenet of what they say and believe. These words are repeated over and over and over again. By the way, people who want to say, well, but it's just a religion, just like Christianity. Forgive our enemies is not the same thing as eliminate them.
Right.
Pray for our enemies is not the same thing as cut their heads off. There's a very definite difference here, gang. And this idea that, well, we have to be tolerant of everybody. No, not when they're out to cut your head off. You don't.
Well, at this service, they're definitely saying that. That's definitely the lyrics that we've got here. Lorna, especially ahead of 9/11, I think that, this is just despicable. And we've got prominent officials and celebrities and movie stars and artists all leaving New York now. They voted this in, and now they're all fleeing. And I feel like California and New York are following similar paths.
Generally speaking, I think you've hit the nail on the head here, because when you are trying to judge the efficacy of somebody in a particular position, you judge them by the fruits of their labor. And if the idea is to make New York more prosperous, more able to provide services and justice and a better standard of living for the common man, which is what he was kind of running on, then you have to ask yourself, is that what we're getting? And instead, what you're getting is businesses fleeing, celebrities fleeing, the tax base fleeing, and him attending a service like this before 9/11, which on its face, especially for New York, should be considered offensive. I don't even want to get into judging the religion, because that's a whole separate thing. And I think all you have to do is look at what the guy is actually doing versus what he promised. And I think there's some people that haven't figured out that yet. But I think that the free grocery store experiment or the low-cost grocery store experiment is going to teach them real quickly that you're chasing business out. And when you do that, when you are competing on a level that is not fair, you're technically forcing your competitors out because they can't compete at the price that you can as a government. When you only have one choice, that's what you get if you're lucky. And that's going to wake some people up, I hope.
Yeah, I obviously, you guys know I'm from New Jersey originally. I was in high school.
Really?
When
your accent doesn't give it away at all.
Yeah, no, it does not at all. I was in high school when 25 years ago when all this happened, and I remember being our history teacher telling us what happened, and I remember going to the counselor's office at lunch, and he had the TV on and seeing it for the first time. And if I could think to myself that 25 years later, the New York City would be in the grip of a guy who is going to a service like this, where they are saying the kinds of things that were said, to justify this unspeakable act of horror and terror, that most of this, these democratic socialists are campaigning with a guy like, what's his name? The influencer.
Al Saeed?
No, the one that shocked his dog.
Hassan Piker.
Yeah. Hassan Piker, who said that America deserved this. The fact that all it would take is 25 years for us to completely forget that moment. I remember going to church that Sunday, and just the church was packed full, and everyone stood up at the end of that service and sang "God Bless America" together. And I still get chills thinking about that moment. We were in the shadow of New York City at that point, and now here we are 25 years later. No one remembers it. No one thinks about it. No one honors these people who died. There is a petition that has tens of thousands of signatures to bar this man from this ceremony, and he has said that he will be there no matter what. And he's not going there to honor anybody. He is going there to make the statement that he is going to be the one standing up there. This is a horror show, and I cannot believe the
graves of the dead.
I cannot believe that this city that I loved since I was a child, that I watched pick itself up out of the dirt, with Mayor Giuliani and all of New York coming together as one people for the first time to truly say, we will not be scared into submission, to know that they have now invited the wolf into the flock.
They've tried to incarcerate Giuliani. I mean, that's their.
Oh, yeah.
They've tried to bankrupt him because of political differences. Now you can dislike Giuliani's politics, but trying to bankrupt him and incarcerate him, we didn't used to do those things. Derek, the fascinating thing to me about this, of course, is the damage it's going to do to New York as an entertainment, location.
Sure.
I cannot imagine. Let's say that every media company that's there just stays there. Okay. I have no idea why Fox News, for example, wants to stay there, but let's say they do. I could not imagine any company right now saying, hey, we should go to New York. Hey, we should be located in NYC. Hey, we should move our headquarters to so at the very least, I can't imagine anybody going into this until this guy is out. I think that, he's only been there for how long?
Remember what opened this week? Y'all Street opened this week. The Texas Stock Exchange.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, no, you're right, bro. Look, he's putting out lists of people, that make money. Why would you voluntarily move into that city? Everybody's moving out. And, once those tax dollars leave, they're not coming back. All right. The only way you're going to get that money back is by taxing the people that are still there, that are stuck there and they have nowhere else to go. And that's you, middle class people in New York. You're the ones that are going to be left holding the bill for the, communist run grocery stores and all these other wacky, crazy ideas. He's about to burn NYC to the ground.
They're already
figuratively, of course. He's not going to succeed because the thing about it is communism never works. Okay. Socialism never works.
But he could turn this into Detroit, DA.
Oh,
or Seattle. Or Portland.
It doesn't work anywhere. Okay. You see what Katie Wilson's going through in Seattle. It just doesn't work. And you just run all the money out.
Yep.
Look, the Paramount Pictures is about to flee to, Nashville, because of the nonsense that's going on with these guys taking, shots at them because of political reasons. So the thing about it is once these people are locked into their ideology, and the ideology comes above everything. They don't think about the second, third, and fourth order effects of what it is that they're doing. And so Mamdani, it sounds good on paper, free groceries, free bus rides, free this, free that, or whatever, not free, but discounted groceries. Everything sounds good on paper, but then when you actually put it into practice, you see what you get. So I don't get it. I don't understand it myself. But I studied history enough to know that this is how this ends. I know how this ends.
It took 100 million lives in the last century. I think that's plenty for me.
His people are already starting to say things about landlords and stuff like that. And I knew somebody who escaped from communist China, basically had to swim for it to get to Hong Kong. And his father was a landlord, and they arrested him and took him away for the crime of being a landlord.
Yep.
Yeah. This is what they want. They want to seize the means of production. They want to seize property. They're not being coy about it. They're saying it. That's the thing. Bill Maher is now like, guys, Bill Maher said to JD Vance, if these democratic socialists are still on the ballot, my vote is in play.
Yeah, and I wanted to play that. We can never play those clips because they always get copyright.
And Marv, you talked about
James Carver, James
Carville.
Carville,
James Carville. He said, I will not be in the same party as Hassan Piker. And if you're going to keep working with Hassan Piker, you're not working with James Carville.
And Marv, you talked about your experience in high school during this. My experience in elementary school, I will never forget. My brother and I and my mother and father all watching President Kennedy during the Cuban crisis. Missile crisis on TV, a Democrat. And he knew the difference. They don't anymore. Right. They just don't.
And that's very, very unfortunate that this party has moved so far to the left. It's going to have an effect on the entertainment, the economy, everything in NYC. And I think it's going to drive out so much of what, people sing songs about New York. It's synonymous with the idea of entertainment. It's Sinatra's city, right? Boy, no more. Lauren, I'll give the final word as somebody who understands what's going on in places like Seattle. What's your take on the effect of this and where this is going?
Nowhere good. I think that the left are so desperate to hang on to power that they have made a devil's bargain. Their justification is that they have to have the number of seats that they require to try and push back against the Trump administration, that they have widened their tent, so to speak, so far that they no longer care what standards they're enforcing. They only care about winning. And that means that they are going to be eaten from the inside by these democratic socialists, these communists, these leftists. Yep. And in places like where I'm at, Washington State, it means essentially we are going to chase out all business. That is happening here. It's happening in California. It's happening in New York. No good comes of this. And bear in mind as well, when those people with the capability to flee do go to those states that won't be so punitive with their taxes and with the regulations, they tend to bring their politics with them. So it's a little bit like having an infestation of termites that just eats out all of the wood that supports the structure around you. It collapses and they move on to continue to rapaciously feast on structures elsewhere. So at a certain point, people have got to wake up and put a stop to this. I pray that can happen before it gets violent, because that will happen eventually when people get desperate. Oh, yeah. We actually have to come to our senses and say, enough is enough. We have to have some kind of standards. And those most important standards are buying into the American experiment, understanding that capitalism is at the core of what we do, and having solidarity with the nation that gives you all of these bounties that have been granted by the capitalistic system. If you're not into that, we're not interested in having you here.
Yeah, and I would say too that as we get ready to do a postmortem on all of the damage, we need to remember who brought the damage to these cities. We need to remember that it's the Mark Ruffalo's, it's the Jane Fondas, and so many more in Hollywood who came. They come in and they say, "You need this. You got to get this. You got to have this guy. It's going to make all your dreams come true. The utopia is on the way." And then they go back to their homes. And average New Yorkers, average residents of Seattle, they're the ones who suffer under this. And the suffering from this is not all over the country. And that means people are going to be leaving to other places in the country. So will entertainment and show business. We've reached the end yet again. But ladies and gentlemen, we've had fun today, have we not? And until the next time we get to do so yet again, be a friend to the channel. Click that like button. Share your thoughts in the dialogue down below. And if you're not yet subscribed, well, we need you right here on Team Pro. Until we meet again, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.